Day 163. Paano kung LDR kami? How to make it work? Hi, I'm Joelle. I talk for a living and I'm an overthinker. Sa bawat hakbang ng buhay, lagi ako nagtatanong, paano kung? At kung tulad nyo, kung sobrang daming tanong sa life, tara, sabay nating sagutin ang mga paano kung questions sa buhay. This is Joelle, and you're listening to the Paano Kung Podcast. Hello, paano cutie? Kamusta ang puso? This is for those sa mga pusong umiiyak kasi namimiss nila ang jowa nilang nasa far away land. Charny naman, pero pwede din. I realized that it's time for like a follow-up episode of Day 58, Paano Kung LDR kami. And gabi, it's been over 100 episodes since we talked about that. So if hindi nyo pa napapakinggan, go over there para may backstory kayo sa akin. And then you can come back here. So from Day 58 to today, the question is, paano kung LDR kami? How to make it work? Chinika ako na sa inyo guys that LDR is not for everyone. And although I experienced being in a long-distance relationship before, I quickly realized that this was not something I personally wanted for myself. Not for everyone, but there are many people who were able to conquer the distance and figure it out. It's through stories where we get inspiration na, ay, posible pala, may nag-work out of this. And yeah, dahil hindi ako yon, we got some help today. Our special guest is the founder of Go Hard Girls podcast, History Rebooted, and 5 minutes lang. A true girl's girl, uplifting women in sports and everywhere, honestly. She's also a children's book author, a social media producer for the Meralco Pulse, and the head of partnerships and business dev sa Puma podcast, diba? Busy siya. An awesome team also behind a lot of your favorite podcasts. So she has made and continues to make waves in her industry, and all the things she does definitely warrants like another episode. Pero for today, ang important nating malaman ay she is also an LDR success story. Paano kung usapang LDR tayo with Ceej Tantengco-Malolos? Hello.
Hi, Joelle. Mabuhay ang LDR.
Yes! Oh my gosh, ang saya. Nakakatawa when I was like listing down all your slashes and stuff. Sabi ko, hindi siya related doon, pero important kasi to talk about the surviving LDR and how it's possible. But thank you for making time. Finally, na-push na rin natin to, no? Backstory din, I guested on her 5 minutes lang podcast. In fairness, ang galing ng pag-condense nyo.
Salamat.
Out of our long conversation that day. Ang dami nating chika. And
for today, long chika tayo.
about long distance naman. So yeah, we've been getting that question a lot, no? To make another episode on long distance relationship, and sobrang sakto kasi I would see posts about your relationship leading up to your wedding, and medyo unconventional pa rin yung setup nyo ngayon, no? Kasi it's kind of LDR, but you found the system there. And yeah, so let's work on how you were able to make that work. Paano kung LDR? How do you make it work? Let's rewind to your early dating life. What would you say is like your pattern sa love life mo? Would you have that? Yeah, what would you say it is?
You know, I never did LDR until I met my husband.
Okay.
I didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Kasi I kept thinking, I'm not stable enough to do LDR. I'm not emotionally stable enough. It's too hard. I'm too, clingy.
Would you say you were celos? So you were clingy.
I'm not celosa, but I am
Okay.
clingy. I am the type na, gusto ko may ka-holding hands ako. Gusto ko may kasama ako. Gusto ko mag-date. Gusto ko maglakad-lakad. Ganun. So I never thought about it. And laking Quezon City kasi ako. And all of my relationships from when I was younger, they were like, for some reason mga taga-South.
LDR na rin yun, in a way, in this traffic.
So akala ko, sabi ko sa sarili ko, okay, yung first relationship ko was Parañaque, ganyan. Tapos yung second relationship ko, Pasay. Tapos when that relationship ended, sabi ko sa sarili ko, di na ako lalampas ng Pasig, ha? As in, ayoko na ma-heartbreak ng mga South boys. Gusto ko na ng malapit.
Were the reasons behind these breakups ba because of the distance?
No,
then?
not
okay,
even.
Okay.
I just like in my head, I was
Okay.
like, maybe I need to look closer to
Right.
home. Maybe I should look in Quezon City.
Malaki din naman kasi ang Quezon City.
Oo,
So,
diba? I mean, abot Fairview, you never
yes,
know, diba?
exactly.
So that's what I thought. And then it's so silly because I ended up, my husband, when we met, hindi lang siya South or what, hindi lang EDSA, hindi lang
No.
SLEX. He was working in the UK.
Wow. Someone who swore off, somewhere, parang nagde-decide na within the city. But no, she went to, not the next country, not even the next island, not next country.
Continent.
How many hours is that?
Oh,
Is the
gosh.
difference nun?
So, pag 8 a.m. ko
Mm-mm.
on the way to work, tatawagan niya ako, midnight yun sa kanila.
Okay. So that's the most convenient time.
Yeah, morning. Morning ko is midnight niya. Siguro a late lunch
You
break
say
for me,
good
mga 2
morning
p.m. Good
when it's
morning.
midnight.
Yes. That's our
It's
song.
jet lag. It's
Yeah.
definitely jet lag.
And then by like magla-late lunch break na ako sa office,
Okay.
gising na siya nun.
Okay,
So he'll call
right,
me
right.
bagong gising siya, gano'n.
Oh.
And then pag patulog na ako, yun naman gabi ko, lunch break niya yun. So tatawag naman siya. So at least naka 3 times a day
Okay.
call kami. But again, like this wasn't in the
Yeah.
game plan. But I
How-
believe kakainin mo yung salita mo. Pag sinabi mo, hindi ako LDR. Ay, all the more my LDR.
The universe will be like, kaya mo. So wait, you met and he was already based in the UK. What was your meet cute? What was the story of how it came to be?
So, we met many, many years ago. Hindi lang namin alam ng maayos.
Red string! I love it!
We were classmates in college.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
We were classmates in college. One of those big auditorium type classrooms na
gosh.
maraming students. Tapos di kami nag-uusap kasi nga, comm major ako. Film, art,
Right.
tapos siya management. And as a hipster child, ang
Okay.
feeling ko, management. Gusto ko
Parang, stuck up, not to,
squares. Ew. Gusto ko ng artist.
Right.
Artist.
Brooding, sensitive, ganyan.
Gusto ko yung mga yung parang may mga course nila, mga tipong philosophy,
Right.
film major,
Let's talk about the
creative
deep
writing.
things in life, ganon. Okay.
Dadaling ka sa film festival.
Yes,
ganon.
okay, I get that.
So,
I get the appeal.
hindi ako nakikipagkaibigan sa mga management, pero kaklase kami doon.
Mm.
So, mga 8 years later, this was 2020, right before lockdown. He was in the Philippines. Nag-work na siya sa UK at that lahat. He was in the Philippines just to visit family for Christmas and then
Okay.
spend January here bago siya bumalik doon. And then, nakita niya ako sa isang mutual friend's IG story. Tapos nag-reply lang siya ng pa-joke ng, uy, crush ko yun nung college, lololol. Single kaya siya. And then,
Oh my God.
a very good, she's a great friend because sineryoso niya at nireto niya kami.
Oh my gosh! Okay!
So yun, we ended up going on our first date the day before he was leaving the country.
Oh!
Mm.
Oh my gosh! So this was around January
on my
Mm-mm.
birthday.
Okay!
Which is, it was the only date that aligned. So I went
Okay.
on a date on
Birthday,
my birthday.
first date. All right. How was that? Why did you decide to say yes though now? Kasi you said you didn't like you were after the brooding artist type of thing. But what changed? Why
Kasi
did you give this a
nga,
chance?
Mali ako, mga kaibigan.
Okay.
Parang, I think I was at a point where I had a very specific type, and it never worked out for me. Like my types just don't work out for me. So
Okay.
all I want us to read the same books. I want to have the same interests. Kailangan artsy-fartsy. Like, like I had this type.
Yeah.
And then I kept chasing that type. And then it never worked out. So all the times na ako yung naghahabol ng ito, pareho kami. It's gotta work because
Yeah.
it makes so much sense on paper. Kasi
Right.
pareho kami ng gusto. Pareho kami ng industry. It's gonna work out. Tapos, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, I was humbled by the universe.
Mhm.
And then, I was in a mental state where I was like, okay, I guess, kung mali naman ako palagi, I guess, kailangan kong maging bukas
Okay.
sa kung ano-ano.
Mhm.
So, kung may mag-ask, wala namang masama to go on a first date
Okay.
and just see what happens. You never know.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's a me problem. Maybe I'm
Okay.
not, looking properly. So, I was like, okay, let's just try going on a lot of first dates. So, when he asked me out, I was like, okay, I guess, sure. So, just
Okay.
like, no expectations.
Not even like parang, cute pala siya. Sige, not even. Parang,
even.
sige,
Just
bahala
like,
na.
yeah, sure, bahala na. Why not?
Okay, and how was that first date birthday celebration?
So, parang we ended up talking for several hours. Dapat lunch lang.
Okay.
Inabot na kami ng 6 p.m. sa kakadaldal. So,
Okay.
naging lunch with coffee, with
Yeah.
merienda. And then, after that, we had to go our separate ways na kasi mag-e-empake pa siya.
Right.
Ganyan.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was our first date. And I remember having a lot of fun. But also thinking, LDR, first, anong point?
Yeah.
Diba? So, straight up, nung medyo paalis na siya,
Yeah.
dinerecho ko lang siya. Sabi ko, so, alis ka bukas, diba? So, ano yung point ng pag-date?
Date, yeah.
Ano pa yung point? And then sabi niya, well, kasi gusto kita ligawan kahit nasa abroad ako.
Ooh.
And I was like, I mean, di pa rin ako I don't know pa rin if I'm pang LDR.
Yeah.
Pero, I guess, kung gusto
Sige,
mo
kung
i-try.
gusto mo, okay.
Sure.
You're in yes mode nga naman.
I guess. Try mo lang naman. Walang
Alright.
mawawala. So, yun. I think I just gave him a shot.
Okay.
Yun.
And then, so you did that. Gaano katagal ka niligawan?
Tagal din. Like,
Okay.
very long. Kasi nga, I had all of these doubts in my head. I kept thinking, really?
LDR. Tapos were you seeing other
LDR?
people in between that or around?
So, when we started dating, I was still seeing other people. And then, siguro mga 4 months into talking and, him making ligaw, I wasn't seeing anyone na.
Okay, so you made it exclusive. Pero you didn't, how often in a year would you see each other?
So, here's the funny thing, no? Parang January kami
Tapos
first
nag-pandemic.
date.
Oo nga,
Tapos
2020,
nag-pandemic,
right?
so
So that
nag-lockdown,
happened, yeah.
ganyan. He was able to come back to the Philippines June.
Okay.
In Fair.
Oo. But it was very strict na.
It was
Buti
very
nakagawa siya
strict,
ng
oo.
paraan to go home. Yeah.
Oo. And I still had lots of doubts. I had not been seeing anyone else. And yet, ayoko siya sagutin.
Okay.
Kasi I kept thinking, talaga, LDR?
Yeah.
Talaga, ako? Tapos management pa.
Mhm.
Alam mo yun?
Yes, it's a lot of things na parang
Ang dami
not what you wanted initially.
Oo,
Yeah.
parang ang dami namang barrier. Talaga ba? Baka mali na naman ako. so, hindi ko, ang dami kong doubt sa sarili ko. And then, he went home and then tinuloy niya yung ligaw process. Lahat ng date namin, bahay.
Wow. Yes, pandemic.
Oo.
Yep. Okay.
So, it was just bahay ko, bahay ng pamilya niya. So, ang aga namin nag-meet the parents. Di pa
Yeah.
kami. Meet the parents na kami kasi nga lockdown. So, parang hi po.
Oh my gosh.
Nanood lang po kami dito ng Crash Landing.
Yeah. Wow.
So, ayun. And then that trip, nung paalis siya, parang I got so sad na alis siya. And then I started crying. And then it's like, ba't ko umiiyak? And then doon ko na-realize na, dapat sagutin ko na yung taong to. Kasi, ba't ako umiiyak? Diba?
Yeah, I was gonna ask because ako personally, I really don't believe in ligaw. For me, it's like, okay, if you're clear, straight up. So I'm wondering what was going on in the process kasi nagpapaligaw ka and then you were dating also. So you already liked him, I'm sure. Like you were showing some intention. When you cried, was that the na parang, okay, I think these are feelings na talaga na mahal ko na siya. Would you say that already?
Yeah, parang I gotta get out of my own way is what
Okay.
I thought. Like, maybe I just, it was a moment where I figured, maybe I have lots of misconceptions,
Okay.
Like, I think it was a humbling experience. Na parang,
Okay.
okay, baka mali ako, di ba?
I love that though, that you were able to face yourself and be like, you kind of broke down a lot of the things that you believed in.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so sinagot mo na siya finally when you realized that, hey, well, bakit ako naiiyak? Which means, so you decided to give this a chance.
Yeah.
And this was what, August, July? He went back na to
He
work
went
in
back to
London.
UK.
Okay, UK.
And then I wouldn't see him for another 6 months. He went home for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, or 5 months, I guess, or Christmas.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
how was the first 6 months then? Na you were officially together, you were still struggling, I'm sure,
With
with
the
LDR if you wanted. Yeah, and then the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was a lot of layers to work through.
You know, like he would send food to the house so often. Like that was the love language.
Oh.
So hahanap siya ng way to send food deliveries to the house. Every month namin, he would send flowers to the house. So parang very ganon.
Yeah.
Like he really found ways. And I think you mentioned earlier, you're not a ligaw person. I used to not be a ligaw person. I used to be like, bakit? Diba? If kung gusto ko, edi gusto ko
Go
na rin.
na,
Diba? Pero party lang na-humble ako.
Kasi ay sarap pala din
kasi nga parang mali yung hinahanap ko.
Okay.
So parang
alright.
baka to get out of my own way, I should stop,
Okay.
be the one.
Ikaw naman, be pursued
Ako
naman.
naman.
Okay,
Ako naman,
alright. I
ganon.
see. I get
Oo.
that.
So, I super respect the not ligaw. Kasi ganun din naman yung experiences
As someone who would
ko
pursue
dati.
people. Okay,
Oo, but I think just in this case, because there were so many barriers,
Right.
I think my husband was wonderful enough na he understood na I have these mental barriers. And he's gonna work to overcome them. And thank God he was patient. And thank goodness he was, so committed to doing that.
Yeah.
Because he had the vision before I did.
Okay. Alright. But then kasi I guess what's important to note, and it wasn't a flat out no din naman on your end. It was just you kind
was
of
just
blocking
me.
yourself.
It
And I
was
guess
just
he saw
me.
that and felt that. Kasi diba, syempre, no means no. But you weren't giving that. So you were still entertaining. You just weren't as active pursuing the connection again. Was that how it would be?
Parang I would just talk to him a lot. But I was really, there was this voice in my head like, oh, you might be wrong though. Like, can you trust your feelings though?
Okay, I see.
I mean, LDR really? Are you for LDR?
Right.
Are you?
And
You know,
then,
like, so much doubt.
yeah, tapos nung kayo na ng 6 months, and then he was still really pursuing you in a way, like still giving you all these things. How would you like reciprocate these feelings, even if you're probably still doubtful? When did you start parang, like,
When did I
reciprocating
lock
na rin?
in?
Oo.
Like, so I think by Christmas I was locked in na. Kasi it's something about a major holiday.
Right, that's true.
And celebrating Christmas together with family. I was like, okay, this feels like a real relationship. But the thing that sealed the deal na, okay, I don't think this is just a good relationship, but I think we're gonna get married, was mga March 2021. So after our first Christmas, my whole family got COVID. The whole house.
Oof, okay.
All of us. My parents, my lola, and me. We
Scary
all had
pa
COVID.
yun at that time. Oo.
Scary yun. Wala pang vaccine
Wala
nun.
pa, yeah.
And he was abroad. Everyone else got hospitalized. And I was home alone in the house with COVID. And all of my family members were in the hospital. And, he was abroad with the time difference in the UK. He helped book the ambulances, the oxygen. He helped find, di ba ang hirap, remember, ang hirap maghanap ng oxygen tank.
Yeah.
At the time, then tumutulong siya mag-book.
Oh my gosh.
Parang nagtatawag siya, may time difference. And then when I was home alone, nagbukas siya ng Zoom call para on lang yung Zoom namin 24 hours a day. Para kahit kunwari tulog ako or tulog siya, basta may kasama.
Yeah. Oh my
Kunwari.
gosh.
And then that's when it just locked in my head na, this is marriage material.
Yeah.
This is it.
Wow.
I'm good. I'm willing.
This distance is nothing.
Yeah, distance is nothing. It's not about parang it's not about convenience, it's about commitment.
Ang ganda.
Yeah.
Wow. Ay, kinalabutan ako doon. Ang ganda nun. Na may onting naluha ako doon. That's like with your family pa eh. It's one thing na you, tas with your entire family.
Yeah.
And he was able to show that love as well and care. Oh my gosh, kaya naman pala. Kahit siguro pamilya mo, they were like, pakasalan mo na. Habang pinukubo mo na sila.
Pang son-in-law nga to.
Oh
ganyan.
gosh. Alright, so you were locked in March and like, kailan ba kayo na-engage? When was
We
it?
got engaged 2022 that year. Tama
A
ba?
year after. 2021.
Yeah,
kasi
a year
COVID.
after,
A year after. But
right.
you were already like,
Locked in
Locked
na kami.
na you also said and communicated na rin na finally parang all walls were
Yeah.
broken down
Oo.
kasi sincerity and everything, and like with something naman that's a crisis, a huge crisis he pulled
Yeah.
through. He didn't have to, but he definitely showed you that he wanted to and he was in it.
Yes. And it's
Wow.
one of those things na I realized na I'd been in relationships in the past
Mhm.
where it had been a lot more quote-unquote convenient.
Yeah.
Na they were there naman. We're in the same
Oo.
country,
Yeah.
diba? Pero minsan nag-ano ka about the effort
Yeah.
or about the consistency.
Yeah.
And then, I think it's one of those, that saying on social media, if he wanted to, he would.
Yes, and he did.
did.
He went above and beyond there.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, it was unfortunate that it had to happen, that big crisis, but sometimes these happen so that you could see how serious people are and these things, no? But leading up to that, those 6 months, what were the things that you were struggling with before that? Was it mostly internal?
Oh, yes.
Were you creating certain
Oh, yes.
situations?
I was
Like-
catastrophizing. There was nothing wrong with what he was doing. He was
Nothing.
just
Okay,
so
okay.
steady. He was so steady and
Okay.
so like consistent with
Mm-mm.
everything and so committed.
Wow.
He was
okay.
just, so patient with it. It was me. I think maybe your listeners will be able to relate. If
Mm-mm.
you've told yourself for many years na hindi
Yeah.
ako pang LDR,
Mhm.
that's very hard to get over.
That's true. Yeah.
Na even if you're already in an LDR, dinududa mo sarili
Okay.
mo. Parang,
Right.
aabot ba ako sa point na I'll just break? I'll run out of patience? Am
Yeah.
I going to reach a point where hindi ko na kaya?
Mm.
And then,
and you were kind of just waiting for that to happen.
yeah, I was like,
Ganon.
when am I gonna get frustrated?
I see.
When am I gonna get upset? Like
Yeah.
and if you're used to not being in an LDR, like I'm used to not
Yeah.
LDR.
Mm-mm.
If you're not used to it yet, you have and I think this is all of us, diba? We have a tendency to judge our relationships based on things that we did in the past.
Yes.
So parang, how many, in my head, I'm counting like, well, how many times have we seen each other versus how many times, if it's a relationship with someone who's here, how many times a week do you see each other, diba?
Yeah.
Versus eto months. So I really had to learn. It was talagang learning experience, humbling experience. Pero parang kung kailangan mo ring, I think if you're trying an LDR for the first time, don't see that struggle. You'll feel the struggle at first, pero try to give yourself the space to really discern whether are you struggling because it's this person, because may ginagawa siyang mali, or because, ayaw mo sa kanya, or are you just struggling because hindi ka pa sanay mag-LDR,
Okay.
pero baka kayanin mo rin.
I see. Oh, was there a time like throughout this you sabotaging things on your own? Was there a time that he got tired of it at some point? Yung within that 6 months? No. Wow. Okay. He just he had the vision. He stuck to the vision. Wow. Okay. I love
He had
that.
the vision. Like, I remember he came home from one of the, like the trip nung hindi pa kami, nililigawan niya pa ako. Umuwi siya. And then he brought this little jar full of Post-its. And he wrote me a little Post-it for every day since we last saw each other in person. So this was a jar full of Post-its. And then it's just random things. These aren't like love letters.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just little things like, today we talked about this. I'm glad I got to know this about you.
Oh my gosh!
Ganyan. Or today I ordered cake and you like the cake. Mga ganon. That was nice. Ganon. Small,
Oh,
just,
yeah. It's little things
yeah.
that he...
And then you read it, you're like, ay, oo nga no. Nangyari pala yan.
Oh.
So, honestly talaga, wala akong masabi sa asawa ko.
Ang
Siya yung
ganda.
pinaka-patient.
I love that.
Siguro,
And that's a
you
huge
know.
thing. And that's definitely a huge thing as to why you would be able, like, distance wouldn't matter. I see how
Yeah.
that would be completely, parang nothing na yun compared to everything that he's doing. Okay, so he's never faltered. Yung parang hindi siya na, tas inaway mo ba siya at any point? Was there a moment that happened or hindi naman?
Hindi naman sa inaway ko. Pero I think it must have, I ask him now, parang hindi ka ba na-frustrate or na-disheartened na ang tagal bago kita sagutin?
Yeah.
And then he was like, hindi naman, kasi hindi ka naman nagno-know eh.
Okay.
Parang, kung binusted mo ko, edi binusted mo ko, pero hindi mo ko binusted eh, hinayaan mo lang ako dun eh. So, he just figured na it would just take time.
For you also to kind of get through that. Okay, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And then trust wasn't an issue. He didn't give you a reason to doubt anything. Okay, all right.
Not at all. And then he was also okay because we were both upfront when we started out. Now I was like, yo, I'm still gonna date other people. Okay.
Mhm.
In the early, like, when we first met, I was like, okay, alas ka na bansa, magde-date pa rin ng tao.
And
I
he
was like, yeah,
okay.
sige, sure. Ako din.
Tapos nung 4 months na yun where you kind of did stop seeing other people,
Yeah.
did you say that? Did you have a conversation about that? Or parang, by the way,
Oo
ganun
nga
lang?
eh. Parang, I think we knew. Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
okay.
We did. Pero hindi ko sinagot. Diba?
Okay,
Ang
hindi
weird,
pa rin.
diba?
Okay,
Weird,
okay.
no? I was like, I'm not gonna date other people, but I don't know if I'm gonna be your girlfriend yet. I don't know. I don't want to label. Maybe I'm wrong. Ganon.
Okay, I see. But then in a way, no, you still weren't all in. Eh. Parang I think there's a gray area between yung parang hindi pa kayo, but you're not seeing anyone. So there's that middle ground. What would be the difference between that yung hindi pa kayo but you weren't seeing anyone fully to compared to yung naging kayo na and then yung locked in. Yung ganun.
I think may kinalaman kasi sa age ko.
Okay.
Na, I was in my late 20s at the time. And you know how when you're young, you just get into things without thinking of like how things could possibly end or how, everything could come crashing down and you just like
Bahala na
you
talaga.
just basta magmamahal ka tapos bahala na.
Yes.
Bahala na. Pero
Alam
parang
niya
pag late 20s ka na, like me, I had been through so much na I felt like, kung papasok ako ng relationship, gusto ko ito na yun. Kasi ayoko na ayoko nang dumaan sa isa pang breakup.
Okay.
Ayoko yung...
You're very intentional about it.
Oo.
Okay.
Like, in my head, I was like, the next relationship I get into, kailangan worth it na siya for me to commit fully na. Kasi, papunta na akong 30s eh. I want to have a family and I want, so I can't be wasting my time getting into something and then going through another breakup and starting all over again. So, I think that's it. So when I started crying and all of that, like you said, I finally got out of my own way. And the COVID thing helped me crystallize it. And then by 2022, after like 1 year of LDR and just like really happy with it, we proposed and then got engaged. Yeah.
Ganda. The vision was very clear for him.
Yeah.
Yung after the COVID and then the engagement, how did you change with the way that you interacted? Like, paano ka na lumambing? How did you show your love naman?
Yeah. So I would, because he moved from the UK, which is where he was originally based, to Singapore in 2021. And we felt so happy.
I see.
Because we were like, same time zone. What a blessing, di ba? So, ang saya namin, same time zone. Hindi na kami magpaplano ng, you don't have to backread messages.
Right.
So, same time na kayo gigising, same time matutulog. Masaya. I sent him cake and stuff. So I would send him din kasi sa Singapore may Grab. Wala namang Grab sa UK. So hindi ko siya mapadala ng pagkain.
Okay.
But dahil Singapore, may Grab, I could order food for him.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yung ganon. And then whenever he came to the Philippines, I would go to his family's house and then paglulutuan ko yung family. Ganon.
Ay!
And I gave him, I had a friend na illustrate like a cartoon version of us from our very first Christmas together. So, parang yun, nung all in
Dun
na
ka na
ako, all in
bumawi.
na talaga ako.
Dun ka na
bawi
yes, let's
bawi
go.
na ako hard. Ganon.
You never went to the UK na, Nina.
no,
So
I didn't get to
here,
go to the
nung
UK.
Singapore na siya, how was the setup? How often na would you see each other that year?
So, nung Singapore siya yung umuwi.
Okay.
Siya yung, kasi madali na.
Yeah, it's much cheaper. Yeah, definitely.
Madali na. And he wanted to see his family din naman.
Yeah.
So, from seeing each other every 6 months, naging every quarter.
Okay, a blessing compared to
blessing.
definitely. We get the wins I'm getting here.
Diba?
Okay.
So, I didn't struggle because it felt like it got easier and easier.
Oh, yung saya.
Diba?
Yeah.
So, we saw each other every quarter. He would come home, stay for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Diba? Madali. And then,
Okay, so the
Yeah.
every quarter, so that was the setup. Would you visit him as well?
I
Or
only
after the
visited
wedding na?
him
Ay.
after we got engaged.
Okay. And then after, so throughout wedding planning, engaged na kayo, ano yung setup niyo there? While planning a
Right.
wedding.
So I'm so proud of this because again, diba? Who would have thought that you could plan a wedding while in different countries, diba? But we did it. We did it. And I'm so proud. So obviously, when he proposed, we were in the same country, in the Philippines. And then he flew out mga 2 weeks after we got engaged. And then a month later, we started wedding planning. We had this Zoom call. Well, Google Meet. We had a Google Meet call where I presented may ano kami may as a comm major and the management major. Oh, isa pa to sa pag-humble ko sa sarili ko like may value pala ang complementary skills instead of being exactly the
That's
same
true.
industry. So as a comm girl, I had my Canva deck with a color palette, mood board, pegs for the flowers, for the
Pinresent mo.
everything. Oo. Siya naman, meron siyang spreadsheet for the cash flow.
Oh my God, yes! Oh my God, perfect! And hard seam. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my husband was the one who also did the spreadsheets and that. I'm like, I don't Excel do that. I will
Yes.
I did the Canva and all the deck of the creative stuff.
Diba?
Okay, I love that. So
Yeah.
nag-meeting kayo and that's
We
how
did it. Tapos may assignments kami.
Okay.
May assignments kami. So, I think in the digital age, kayang-kaya na.
Yeah,
Kasi,
much easier for sure.
Nung panahon ng magulang natin, tatawag sila sa landline, kailangan lang pumunta dun sa
Okay.
location. Ito, we were
Right.
able to book a lot of the suppliers through online.
Yeah, tsaka online lang din naman nagme-meet at around,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yung
so that helped a
pinaka-nahirapan
lot.
kami sa church. Kasi, I don't know if you guys know this, but churches don't really have websites. And a lot of the time when they have a website, the email is
Sobrang
not really
outdated.
active.
Oo.
Yeah, so and I don't know a lot of churches. I'm not the most religious person, so I have no idea.
Yes.
But that's when his family really came through. So my mother-in-law, she helped us look for a church. Siya yung pumunta in person.
Okay.
So that's
Alright.
nice. Kasi initially, my husband was calling and
Oo, tapos
emailing.
parang
We were-
hirap pa rin. Okay.
Yeah.
So so you're doing quarterly visits, ganyan.
Yeah.
And then now that you guys are married, it's different. Kasi usually, pag LDR, di ba, parang ang nangyayari, it's far, and then the goal is you close the distance, someone moves
Yeah.
to one place, and that is where they settle.
Yeah.
But that's not the case for you guys. You guys are kind of still moving back and forth. Can
Yes.
you, ano yung setup niyo ngayon?
Because, I think maybe one of the things that frightens people about LDR, and I know it frightened me, was I didn't want to give up my career here in the Philippines to be
Yeah.
with someone that I love.
Yeah.
Diba? Hindi ko pinangarap ever na, okay, magpapakasal ako, then I quit everything, and then I'll just move to
It
be with
sounds so
him.
scary. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I know for some people that's the
Yeah.
dream, diba?
Gets,
And I
gets.
think now in social media, meron pang pag-fantasize about this gusto ko nang lumayas ng Pilipinas.
Fair,
may ganon, may
totally.
ganon.
I get that.
Diba?
We like if that's what you guys want, go lang. But I can relate na it's hard to let go of the things that you've built here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you talked about that na rin very early on. So you said that you're not dropping everything and moving to Singapore with him.
Yeah.
So,
and we realized it's not like I respect his career so much. And I know the things that he gets to do in Singapore, he wouldn't get to do here.
Right.
You know, my husband works in private credit. And so, you know, it's like finance things.
Finance things, okay.
Tapos nag-enjoy talaga siya
Oh
doon.
my
He
gosh.
really enjoys his career. I really enjoy my career. And neither of us want to give up our careers. But we know we want to be together. So we figured out a way.
Yeah.
And our way is, one, we're very blessed na his job, a lot of his clients in private credit are Filipino businesses. So he gets to travel here to meet with the clients.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
We have time in the Philippines. And then ako, a lot of my work, kaya ko siyang gawing remotely. Because, you know, the pandemic opened up the whole
Yeah.
work from home concept,
Yeah.
diba? So after we got married, we went to Singapore together. And then nag-house hunting kami doon. And we got married in July 2023. We got our place in Singapore September
Yeah.
2023. And then we kind of go back. We take turns. Going back. So like either I go there and stay there for a month, or he comes here and he stays here for a month.
Yeah.
And
okay.
we're very lucky that we get to
ganun-ganun.
do it.
Wow.
I really see it as a blessing.
It is.
Because not everyone has the privilege na their work will let them be work from home.
Yeah, and
And
nagmamatch
just
yun
move.
in both ways. Like, aside from you guys being, like, compatible as people, human beings, your careers are working out as well. And that is definitely a blessing. Parang the best possible scenario,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, for now, that's what is working.
Yes.
Was this something that you had to, was it a struggle to figure out? Not really.
I think
Or-
we had to have really open conversations
Okay.
about it. And I think
Yeah.
that's my advice to anyone in an LDR. You have to be open about ano ba yung fears mo? Ano ba yung mahalaga sa'yo?
Yeah, you have
Ano
to be
yung
honest about
non-negotiables
that.
mo,
Yeah.
diba? And I think in talking about it, one, you verbalize how you feel, but also maybe you unlock some new knowledge about yourself na, if I actually think about it, pwede palang ganito. So
Yeah.
you have to interrogate yourself
Okay.
also. So for example, ako, at first I was really hard no, na parang I'm never giving up life in the Philippines. I
Okay.
love life in the Philippines. How can I live without sinigang? You know?
Yeah.
And then we're currently at the place after talking na, you know, if our work develops, right now this is us
Yeah.
in this season of life.
For sure.
But, you know, if we decide to have a kid, both of us are open to exploring fully settling in one place.
Okay.
Because we
I
can't
see.
do this.
Yeah,
We
parang
can't-
mahirap yun with a child din too.
Oo,
Yeah.
parang mahirap lumipad every month pag may
Mm.
bata kang bit-bit, diba?
Yeah.
So, we're just honoring the season
Okay.
of the life.
I see.
And maybe that's also something that people who are considering LDRs can consider na your status right now is not gonna be your status forever.
It can
So kung
change a lot.
LDR ka ngayon, hindi naman LDR ka forever.
Yeah.
Kung, di ba?
So many things can change in different seasons of your life.
So wag mo pala isara sarili mo. I think that's the big lesson.
I love that. Okay. Oh my gosh. Ang ganda. I like how it's a different story and setup. And I'm sure like there are so many different specific stories then of people who enter a long distance relationship. So, we'll be reading some Paano Kung questions na sent over by some listeners na who are in long distance relationships. Very different din ang insights, but I think there are a lot of things that have worked for you that can help, that they can consider as well. All right. So si Sha asks, paano kung my LDR boyfriend of 4 months doesn't initiate a conversation and goes to parties to distress? The guy is younger. I met him on a dating app. His ex-girlfriend cheated on him. That's why I feel like kahit anong assurance na ibigay ko sa kanya, it will never be enough. I gave him the password of my Instagram and Snap account and almost all my social media accounts. And I even post his pictures and the pictures he'd send me on my IG story to prove na siya lang talaga at wala nang iba. But then when he's stressed, he would go out to party and he doesn't talk to me. What do I do? I raised this concern, but nothing changed. It's very different from how, like, you see one person. Parang I guess another side, this is one person. Parang baliktad in a way. No? How would you, like, any thoughts about this?
Well, so I've never given my password to anyone ever. I'm not the celoso type, and I've never also dated celoso type. So parang my experience is different. I wonder whether for this person, for Cha, do you think your primary struggle is your LDR status? Or is it the trust challenge? You know, and maybe if you can compartmentalize those things and then have separate conversation about LDR and about you know,
Ganda.
the whole trust thing. Kasi parang and there's also a communication thing. So the guy, you know, wants to have full visibility on everything for him to trust. Maybe that's because he feels like, well, I'm not there physically, so I want to know. But at the same time, if when he's stressed, he kind of disappears.
Nagka-close off din.
So parang, wait, so siya may access sa buhay mo, ikaw wala.
Good
parang,
point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Parang, I don't know. I think you have to talk about that. And if he needs to have a moment of thinking na kung mag-LDR ka, if you want your LDR to work, how can it work if you don't communicate? Kasi the communication is the replacement for
everything else. The physical, the being there.
Because you know how like when you're face to face with someone, merong communication na non-verbal. You see it sa mata nila, sa, di ba? Sa mukha nila, you can read their facial expressions. If you're LDR and you can't have that, you need to invest so much more in your words and in your
Showing
communication.
how you care.
And showing how you care.
Ooh.
Yun. So maybe you can talk to him about that.
I'm curious how you handle your arguments then. Or wala ba kayong arguments? Or how would that be? And parang feeling close despite the distance, no? How would that be for you guys? That maybe she could pick up some things as well.
Okay. So kami, when we were still dating and we would get into disagreements, it was very important for us na parang may etiquette kami sa pag-message sa isa't isa.
Oh, I like that. That's important.
You know?
Okay. May rules na kayo on how to properly like address disagreements. Okay.
Yeah. Oo. So we parang we wanted to avoid yung hindi namin ino-all caps yung isa't isa. Hindi kami nag-all caps. Hindi kami yung magwo-wall of text. Alam mo yung parang yung parang the moment it comes into your mind, lagay mo na yung isang sentence and then the next sentence, you know, like when you're mad sometimes.
Okay.
You do that na parang as the thoughts come to you, as the rant comes to you, you're just like,
ganyan.
Okay. Ikaw kasi send. Bakit kasi ganyan? Send. Diba? Like we were like, okay. Kasi pag LDR ka, imagine what that looks like on the other person's end receiving that message. Tak, 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 tak. And you can't hear the tone of their voice. And they might be receiving this with a different time zone. Imagine kung they're receiving this, parang patulog na sila.
Right.
Or they're in the middle of their work day. So for us, when we were LDR na different time zone, we would, rather than text, we'd be like, okay, let's talk about this later. And we'll talk about it with voice later during the time na align na kami to call.
Okay.
Or kung text man, instead of, okay lang to reply late, parang you tell them na, okay, let me just collect my thoughts and I'll reply to you, but I just need time to think a little bit. So you signpost instead of disappearing.
Right.
So again, that's an
You're
example of
acknowledging that it's there.
Oo.
Okay, I read this,
I read
but
it.
I'm kind of busy with other things because
Yeah.
different time and
Oo.
like mental space then if you're able to process it at that moment.
And isn't that better
Oo,
than
ganda.
scene zone?
Yeah.
Kahit nag-iisip ka, kailangan iparamdam mo sa kanila na hindi mo sila scene zone.
Right.
So sasabihin mo, okay, nabasa ko to, I hear you. Hindi yun yung intention ko. Teka, mag-iisip lang ako and then babalikan kita. Yung
That's so,
ganon.
like, nakakaano siya, no? Parang, I'm sure that must feel like, wait lang, hold on, I'm not leaving you hanging. And like, kung magsa-spiral ka na in your head and thinking about all these things, that can be like one thing to anchor on. Ang ganda. Alright.
Can you imagine kung magkaiba kayo ng time zone? Tapos, hindi ka na makatulog kasi feeling mo sininzone ka. Kailan ba to sasagot?
Tapos typing, not. Typing, not.
You're like, dalawa na yung
Right,
check sa Telegram. Diba?
Nakakabaliw nga.
So, at
Okay.
least, by saying something like that na I will reply
Yeah.
later. I'll reply during my lunch break. I'll reply ngayon. Meron kang in your head reassurance. O sige, tulog muna ako. Pagising ko may message na yan.
Okay.
Ganon. Or sige, magtrabaho muna ako. Pag lunch break ko may message na yan.
Okay, ang ganda nun. No, all caps. And then when you talk, phone, have you ever Zoomed or discussion?
for an
Zoom argument?
Alam mo, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I
Kasi
think
babe,
so.
yung
Pero
ganon.
kasi you can see, pero hindi kami nagugulatan ng,
Okay.
like, we don't try randomly Zoom call I don't video call him. Well, I didn't nung different time zone.
Okay.
Because what if they're at work?
Right. Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
baka mas sumama pa yung argument kasi they'll be forced to put the phone down. And
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
feel worse.
Kasi binaba.
Oh,
Right.
so schedule the
schedule.
thing. We schedule the thing.
Okay. Oh, those are nice things to keep in mind, especially if the goal is if common yung goal. I think that's important din, no? Especially based on your story din siya, no. I think it's important din to understand how committed, how to see din kung level ba, kung same din kayo. I mean, I think that's one thing that I'm seeing, hearing your story and experience. Now, with the LDR, is it the LDR or is it something in the relationship that is working? And I love that
Yeah.
you mentioned that that's important to figure out within yourself and then check if same din kayo ng partner mo. Ang ganda. And then if you are on that same goal na to fix things, that, you know, if you have a disagreement, the goal is to find the middle ground. These are wonderful, respectful rules. Not to hate each other and to add to the problem. Ang ganda nun. Okay, here's another situation. May effort naman, pero parang hindi pa rin sapat. Si Alea asks, paano kung I have the most loving and thoughtful boyfriend but he's not doing his best for the relationship to work out? I have a boyfriend for almost 5 months and he's the most loving and kindest person I've met. Kaso LDR kami. Eto, Pampanga, QC. So, same time zones, pero malayo pa rin.
And like sila, may toll fee.
Once or twice a month lang kami nagkikita and most of the time, salitan kami ng sked sa pagpunta sa place ng isa't isa. We can't always find time to meet kasi we both have work and he works even on the weekends. Kaso there was this time na he was able to go to Batangas and I was expecting that we'd meet up before he would go home to Pampanga kasi nga sa Cubao ang terminal and on the way, but he didn't initiate anything. He would always say that he really wanted to meet up with me kaso lang he couldn't because of work. But there was this one time na we went out with his family and he was able to find a way para lang maka-absent on that day itself, para lang makasama ang family niya, and I was there. It just feels sad knowing na kaya naman niya pala na gumawa ng paraan if he wanted to. But pag sa akin, laging hindi pwede dahil may work. I understand that he's tired from work, but it would be nice to have someone who'd go the extra miles for you. I just realized that I'm always doing the extra work sa relationship, but he's just doing what he knows. I know he's trying the best that he knows to make the relationship work, but I feel that he could have done better if he really wanted to. Am I being selfish for thinking this way? Is this feeling valid? Thank you.
Wow. So, alam mo, I hear her appreciation for he's kind, he's supportive, 'di ba? Parang she really appreciates this person and she hears naman na he's trying.
Yeah.
I think maybe this is a situation in which you can have a very calm conversation. Because if you escalate it, it's so important for him to feel that you do appreciate his trying. And if you stay calm, you might be able to get at the root of saan ba to galing? Kaya ba siya hindi maka-absent sa work or something? Kasi striktong-strikto ba sa opisina niya, di ba? Kailangan ba talaga niya ng pera? Is it a no work, no pay situation? Alam mo yun?
Yeah.
Yung parang there is I think you can talk about this. And then, kung marinig niya yon and mag-improve siya, I think 5 months in, this is a young relationship. There's so much room to grow. And I know, and I mean, hello, ilang months bago kami nag-lock-in talaga, di ba? Eh di may room yan to grow, and you're not always gonna get it right, di ba, in any relationship. So, if you have that conversation and he commits to being better, and he works on it and improves, don't hold the last kubaw thing over him, because maybe he was just figuring out how to LDR also. And then, this is a learning step for him, So parang, give them a chance to diba?
To do better.
Baka hindi lang nila alam. Alam mo yun? Like, in the same way na ako, eng-eng naman ako sa LDR dati, diba? Di ko naman alam, diba?
That's true.
So, ayun. Parang, I hear the love in her message.
Oo, diba? Parang may frustration. It's completely valid. And given all these things, parang syempre, it needs effort for both ends na they have to be both satisfied.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, how will it work out, right?
So maybe tell him, like, ito yung kailangan ko. Ito yung kailangan ko. And if you can find a recommendation for him that this is how many times I need to see you in a month. And then bahala ka na how you schedule that. But I need to see you this many times a month. And I'm not saying mag-absent ka sa trabaho mo. I'm not saying, whatever. Pero
or how else can they feel loved, no?
Yeah.
The same way you do. Parang
work around
6 months
natin.
ka na.
Diba? Parang anong work around natin dito? Kung busy ka sa work, can we commit 1 hour bago tayo matulog, magte-telepono tayo? Can we commit on the way to work? Kasi same time zone naman kayo. Di yung commute nyo sa work, kung aligned siya, pwede bang magtelebabad kayo sa on the road?
Yeah.
Diba? So, finding the workaround. If you can't do the physical meetup, maybe have a conversation. Ano pa ba?
Na regular quality, and see if he's able to do that, and if he wants to, and if it is something that you're also open to stretching and figure out and finding ways then kung pupunta ka ba doon more or something like that. Okay, I like that. I like the yung giving people a chance to figure it out also along the way. That's important because like we're all doing this for the first time anyway.
Yes.
Ang ganda nun.
We're
Thank
all
you.
living life for the first time.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Paano kung LDR kami? How to make it work? Are there things that you wish you knew earlier on, like coming into this? Parang what would you
LDR
tell
life?
baby Ceej?
Oo nga eh.
2020 Ceej, parang starting this. What are things?
I think if I could talk to my younger self, I would say it's really the quality of the relationship more than it is the LDR or not LDR status. Now, looking back on my younger self and all the times I told myself, I'm not pang LDR, this would never work. I bet when I was younger, I'd have boyfriends and I'd say, oh my God, I don't think we would survive an LDR.
Right.
And so I would actually, we were young and then we'd talk about mag-grad school kaya tayo abroad or whatever. And then I'd be like, ay, feeling ko kung mag-abroad ka, magbe-break tayo. Kasi, and I look back on why. And I think it's because we were the type na pag nag-away kami, nagdededmahan. Parang dinededma niya ako.
Okay.
Tapos iintayin na lang, kailangan ko intayin na, kailan ba siya maging okay na. Tapos sige, magkita tayo, ganon. And so, hindi ko ma-imagine na how would you even resolve these conflicts with distance? What I'm realizing now is the reason why that would never work in LDR because the fundamental of the relationship was not good in the first place. Na hindi kami maayos mag-away. Diba?
Yeah.
Or like in the second relationship, the next serious relationship that I was in, I couldn't imagine doing LDR because I felt like, well, our connection is built on all of our shared hobbies and all of our shared activities,
Yeah.
'di ba?
So pag nawala yun.
So pag nawala yun, ano na kami, 'di ba? And then looking back, I realized, well, that's because it was so in the moment. Walang big vision for you know,
The end goal.
the end goal, 'di ba?
Yeah.
You know, and then
Ang
when you
ganda.
get into a relationship where the fundamentals are set, you have the same goal, you know, parang kung ano man yan, di ba? Kung pareho kayong let's figure it out, okay lang din yun. Or kung pareho kayong let's date with the intention to marry, okay lang din yun. Pero ang mahalaga, kailangan pareho kayo ng goal. Kasi kung mag-LDR kayo, tapos iba kayo ng gusto, yung isa is,
Then it'll make it harder.
oo, kung LDR kayo and yung isang tao is like, LDR to get married, and then yung isa is, let's see.
Okay.
Just casual. Oh my gosh, all the more mag-away kayo. So, si LDR is not the make or break factor. LDR is your litmus test. It will, parang it crystallizes your decisions faster. Na, you know, if it's really the quality of the relationship, it's just that the LDR will reveal things to you by nature of it, you know.
Ang ganda. I love that you gave that as an insight. Kasi, yeah, I mean, I share that. Yung parang LDR, it's gonna make things worse. Ganyan yung parang that's the belief because nag-LDR din ako and then after a month, I was cheated on. But then, it isn't the LDR. It's the person.
Yeah.
It's the unresolved thing.
They probably would have cheated even if you were
Sabagay,
together.
oo. It's not LDR's fault. Justice for LDR. Hindi niya kasalanan. Sitwasyon lang siya that will either make or break the relationship. Ang ganda nun.
I have friends who you know got cheated on in their LDRs, and I always feel like they didn't get cheated on because they were in an LDR. They got cheated on because the guy was a cheater.
Yeah, that's true.
Alam mo yun?
Yeah.
Parang that guy would have cheated eventually, even if they were together.
Yeah.
Physically.
That's
parang
wonderful.
the guys will blame, some guys will blame it on the LDR. Wala ka kasi dito. Ganyan.
But it's not.
Hindi.
You're finding something else to to blame. But
paliwanag mo lang yan, di ba? The fundamentals of the relationship. Communication, commitment, but trust.
Yes.
If you don't have those, LDR man yan o wala.
Yeah.
You know.
And I guess yung parang there has to be one person to hold on. Pero parang iniisip ko, no, how long does one have to hold on? Kasi I'm thinking in your situation na your husband was holding on very quickly for very long. And not too long enough, but like you weren't giving a no din eh. So hindi rin siya na it wasn't completely one-sided din eh.
Yeah.
So nagpo-process yung brain ko in real time, no?
Yeah.
So parang what is the effort? What would you say is enough effort na parang that you would know that it's worth trying na i-push siya?
I think it's an LDR relationship is kind of the same as other relationships in the sense na whether or not it'll work out, you know, you have to, you know, whether or not it'll work out will come down to ano ba yung values nyo?
Okay.
Ano ba yung goals nyo?
Okay.
So, you know, it's, are you the type of people na parang aligned kayo ng values? I'm not saying interest.
Yeah.
Not saying interest.
Yeah.
You can have very, very different interests. Pero kung yung values nyo, kung let's say, mahalaga sa'yo family, mahalaga din sa kanya family, mahalaga sa'yo career, mahalaga din sa kanya career.
Okay.
Diba? Yung ganon.
Yes.
And I think that's it eh. It's like in that way, it's not that different.
I see, that's true.
Yeah.
Parang going back to those
That's the
things that
root eh.
matter
It's the
to
root.
us the most.
Oh.
Okay. Would you have an answer to what is the best part about being in an LDR? Kasi everyone's like,
Yeah.
LDR's hard. But what are the pluses? The positives?
Pluses. Oh my goodness. You know, I think sa LDR, I just think just in my case,
Yeah.
I think the gift that LDR gave me was discovering that I'm actually more patient than I thought I was. I used to think nga, parang it gave me a new appreciation. Kaya ko pala. Patient pala ako. Magaling pala ako. Kaya ko pala magaling mag-communicate.
Okay.
Ganon. Like, it strengthens you in the fundamentals of the relationship. I think it also helped me get out of my own way
Mhm.
in the sense na we all go through it. There are times in our lives where nabubudol tayo ng mga bagay na hindi naman mahalaga, di ba?
Yes.
Just because they're there.
Yeah.
Just because they're there. Nabubudol kang, bango niya.
Totoo yan.
Di ba? Parang, bango? And like, ay, pogi.
That's
Ganon.
true.
You know, and then we get budol, even if the fundamentals aren't good,
Yeah.
right? But I think in LDR, there's nothing to hide behind.
That's true.
Di ka
Oo nga,
mabubudol,
no?
di ba? What the relationship is, you will see it for what it is. And that's why maybe for people, di ba, it feels like it's make or break. Kasi there's nothing to hide behind. There's no like, hi, ang saya, ang dami naming happy memories na nag-holding hands kami habang naglalakad sa mall, ganyan. Or like, kasi ang pogi. Ganun like, kasi ang bango-bango.
Right.
Or like, yung ganon. Hindi ka mabubudol.
Walang ganon, no? You're just stripped down to the basics of a relationship without all the fluff and the extra stuff, no?
So
Ang ganda
that's a
nun.
blessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because again, it helped me get over my whole, I don't want to date a management person.
That's true.
Because I got to see, no, this is the person, like, who they are as a person. So I think that's a blessing. I think one of the things I also enjoy about LDR is, ang saya ng pasalubong.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
I love pasalubong. I love yung pag-iipon ng pasalubong for each other when you see, like, care packages.
Oh,
It's fun to
yeah.
receive and it's fun to put together.
Right.
A care package for someone.
You get to show your love in very different, unique ways. You get to be creative with the way that you show your love. Ang ganda nun.
Yeah. Like, I remember one time, he came home, siguro May. It was after Easter. You know, he saved a bunch of Easter chocolate. You know, Easter egg chocolate, Easter bunny, Maltesers. Yung mga ganon. He just bought a bunch of Easter chocolates and gave them to me when he eventually came home. And I was like, this is so nice. You thought of me last month and bought all of this. This
Mga
is
bao.
sweet.
Parang ang daming dagdag na gifts na binaon for how long. And then all that jar, that gift of jar, like you get so creative with those wonderful small but not so small things. Like it piles up and it just like builds and makes it even more special no pag nagkita kayo. Ang ganda.
It's honestly very OFW coded.
Yes!
May balikbayan
That's
boxes.
true too. Wow. Man, thank you for that very refreshing perspective. Parang feel ko tuloy na kung hindi ako, parang I wouldn't, if I had this conversation earlier on, I wouldn't be so scared to enter. And for anyone, I hope that you guys felt that way with this. Because it's like a very refreshing perspective na I can imagine those in relationships na if I were in that space, na parang hindi na ako matatakot. Because what will happen is meant to happen. Parang kung mabubuwag man, okay, then it wasn't a strong foundation. Yeah. But if it's, like, if the distance doesn't feel like a big thing, parang you know what you got is good.
Yeah. And you can build. Just like, it's just a different thing to build.
That's true.
It's like any other relationship.
And it
you
can
have to build
change
it.
so
It
much.
can
Oh my
change,
gosh.
Just
All
try,
right.
you never know.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation, Ceej. Yeah, and thankfully, there's more that you can find her in. Marami pa siyang pinag-uusapan. Are you active dun sa ibang podcasts mo recently? Which one?
The most active right now is Go Hard Girls.
Yes.
So Go Hard Girls is women in sports community, women empowerment. Actually, I'm inviting you.
Okay,
This
let's
is my
go.
official
Chika pa tayo
invite.
dun.
This is my official invite. I'm working on our year-end event.
Ooh.
So it's a women's vision setting workshop.
We love that. We want a 2025 that is thriving and alive.
It's called Game Plan 2025.
Oh my gosh.
And
I love that.
I would love it if, just in case you're free.
Oh, that sounds so
It'd be fun. Yeah.
Game. Oh my
We're gonna make
gosh.
our vision boards
Vision board
with a
making.
national athlete. Oh,
I love that. Okay, that sounds amazing. All right. So we have Go Hard Girls. You can find her there. She has many conversations there and on social media. And then, where else can we find you?
I'm on social media at Ceej the Day. That's CEEJ
I
the
love
Day.
that so much.
And and then if you have kids in your life, I have children's books. They're published by Kado Publishing, and it's the Fantastic Filipinas series. So it's 5 Filipino women from history. And we also have the ABCs of Pinoy basketball, which is an alphabet book about basketball for little kids.
So cute.
So yeah, that's That's it. That's where I am.
Yeah,
And,
that's where you can find her and all the most amazing things coming up as well. Thank you so much for joining me on this Siege.
Thank you.
Yeah, hanggang dito na muna ang chikahan natin. Pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin beyond this podcast episode. You know that she's everywhere, so you could follow her along there. Comment your thoughts here. Share them online. I'm curious, especially yung mga nasa LDR, mga nag-iisip about LDR, kung anong gagawin. And if you have any new insights from this, follow and tag me at JoelleOL, and of course, our special guest today at Ceej the Day. Let me know if you want more conversations like this. But till then, I'll see you on our next episode. Oh yeah, thanks so much for being here. Kwentuhan ulit tayo soon. Always remember, may kasama ka lagi sa paghanap ng mga sagot sa mga paano kung sa buhay. You are valid, you are growing, and should you decide to go the distance, trust that whatever happens, love is always worth a shot. You deserve the kind of life and the kind of love that you want.
The Pod Network Entertainment. The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.